Okay, so I'm going to talk about the final paper. So in the final paper, you're gonna include the sections you've already written, the introduction, the methods, and the results. But you're gonna add to that um, a title page, an abstract, discussion, a discussion section, references section, and the appendix. So let's talk about the discussion. Sorry, itchy throat. So the first paragraph, you're going to write a few sentences summarizing the purpose of your study and the results of your study. Say if your hypothesis um, supported was supported or not. The second paragraph, write how your findings tie into or build upon the research that you discussed in the introduction. So you're gonna you're gonna talk about your results sort of in respect with what people have found in the past, and discussing how it builds upon the literature or ties into the literature that's been that you found for your introduction. You want to make sure to cite at least two of your studies in this paragraph. Um, uh, this paragraph should be well developed evidence of critical thinking, um, and applying your findings to the current literature. Then um, you're going to write about some of the limitations of your study. Um, so think about topics we've covered. So measurement methods, reliability, validity, sampling designs. So was your sample, was it a quality sample? Remember what makes up remind yourself about what a quality sample looks like. Um, if it's quality samples are um, representative of the population. So, was your sample representative of the population you were studying? Uh, was your sample small? Things like that. Um, or you can also mention that you can't claim causality because this was cross sectional rather than an experimental design. Uh, Anyways, some examples of things you can mention. Explain how uh, those weaknesses interpret or impact the interpretation of your study's results. You can also discuss any third variable concerns like possible compound variables. If you go remind yourself what a compound variable is, if you don't remember. Uh, then you could also mention what you would do differently if you were to do it again, and then describe future directions for study. Describe an example of at least one future topic of study that could build upon what you did. Then the conclusion, write a few sentences that really briefly summarize the main thrust of your findings and why they matter. Okay, so the title page is on a separate page. It's the first page of the main paper. Um, and so we're talking about when you put the entire paper together, all these parts together, you're going to have a title page. Put the title of your paper, your name, separated by a double space centered on the page. Include a running head as per APA format. Abstract. The abstract is a separate page. So you have the title page, then you have the abstract page. After the abstract page, you then go into the introduction. So the abstract page In the abstract, it's just one paragraph. You've read some abstracts at this point. So in the abstract, state the purpose of your study, identify the participants, describe and summarize your research findings. And yeah, one way of doing this is to write a sentence or two to represent each main section of the paper. The abstract should be less than 100 words, double spaced, not indented, and the word abstract should be centered in upper and lowercase letters. Yeah, okay. So, and then references. Make sure you put any references you used in the introduction in the references section after the discussion section. Make sure to follow APA guidelines. So you can go look at any corrections that were made for your annotated bibliography. Yeah. Okay. So this paper, there's no page requirement, but it will probably be around 9 to 11 pages. 12's font, Times New Roman, double spaced. Do not include your survey. Title page is page 1, then abstract, then the body of the paper, which also includes references and appendices, such as your descriptives table. Make sure to use the headings, so proper headings. So, like you would use the heading of methods, and then the subheading of sample, procedure, measures, etc. And you would also have a heading for discussion, results, references, etc. Examine papers online for help, but also realize that those are imperfect models that could be improved. And then here's the final paper grading rubric. Notice that the rubric for a lot of these parts are just rubrics for that you were given when you initially wrote that section. So the introduction referred to assignment 4 instructions. And the paper is worth 100 points total.